The people who end up successful, they rarely start out with more talent, money, or luck than everyone else. But they do start with something else, something most people ignore. They start with a personality, a particular configuration of traits, not one they were born with, but one they built. Today, I'm going to show you 7 personality traits that practically guarantee success, and it is contained in the letters of the word success itself. Let's start with the first piece, sense of direction. You'd think people fail because they don't try hard enough. Wrong. They fail because they never decide where they're going. It's like frantically rowing a boat with no clue where the shore is. You're burning energy, making waves, but you're still in the middle of nowhere. Sense of direction isn't just having goals. It's being emotionally anchored to a vision that terrifies you and thrills you, something vivid enough to pull you through resistance. Most people, they set goals they don't believe in, for a life they don't even want, to impress people they secretly resent. But here's the kicker. Without direction, your mind will default to distraction. And here's where it gets darker. Your inner critic loves when you're lost. It thrives there. So, what do you really want? Not what your parents wanted, not what social media rewarded. What would feel like coming home if you finally got it? Don't answer yet. We still have 6 more, and one of them might expose why your direction keeps changing. Number 2, understanding. Let's say you pick your direction. You're focused, fired up, and then someone questions you, a friend, a parent, a stranger on the internet, and suddenly all that confidence melts into self-doubt. You hesitate, overthink, you tell if it's just being smart. But here's what's really happening. You don't have understanding, not of others, and definitely not of yourself. Understanding is an IQ. It's emotional clarity, psychological insight. It's knowing that most people criticize what they fear, that jealousy wears the mask of concern, that your triggers aren't signs of weakness, they're signals, messages from a younger you begging to be heard. Without understanding, you take everything personally. You'll internalize someone's projections as your truth. You'll call your trauma overthinking. You'll think your habits are flaws, when really, they're armor. Understanding is the lens that makes all feedback usable. But even with this insight, even with your direction clear, you'll still face the one thing most people spend their lives trying to avoid. Number 3, courage. If you think courage is about slaying dragons or giving TED Talks, you're missing the real battlefield. Courage is doing the thing that makes you look foolish. Starting before you're ready. Asking for what you want. Walking away from something that everyone else thinks is good enough. But most people don't want courage. They want safety dressed up as progress. They'll say they're waiting for alignment. What they're really waiting for is permission. Courage requires sacrifice, of reputation, of comfort, sometimes of people you love. Because as you rise, you outgrow. You shed identities that once fit like armor. But don't mistake courage for recklessness. It's not loud, not impulsive. It's the quiet decision to move forward anyway, even if your hands shake, even if nobody claps, and even if you do it alone. Number 4, charity. Now this one throws people off. Charity, as in being nice, isn't that unrelated? Actually, it's central, but not for the reason you think. See, most people think success is about taking, getting what's yours, outperforming, outmaneuvering, outlasting. But here's the reversal. The most powerful people don't just take, they give. And I don't mean money, I mean value. Insight, time, energy, belief. Not because they're saints, but because they understand one brutal fact. Desperation repels. Contribution attracts. When you're clinging, grabbing, hoarding, people feel it, and they run. But when you shift your focus to serve, to lift, to support, to elevate, you become magnetic. Not because you're nice, but because you stop making everything about you. Number 5, esteem. You probably think self-esteem means liking yourself. Not quite. Esteem means evaluating yourself honestly, not through the eyes of others, but through the lens of your own values. Most people's self-esteem is least. It depends on productivity, praise, perfection. If the job goes well, they're proud. If it doesn't, they're worthless. This is not esteem, it's dependency. And here's the paradox. The more you chase esteem externally, the more hollow you become internally. Because deep down, you know you're performing. You know you're earning love, not receiving it. And your subconscious starts to revolt. That's when burnout hits. Not because you're weak, but because your soul's tired of playing someone else. Esteem returns when you start honoring your own standards. Even if no one else claps, even if it costs you popularity, even if it means breaking your own image. Number 6, self-confidence. Confidence is not walking into a room and thinking you're better. Confidence is walking into a room and not needing to compare at all. But let's get brutally honest. Most people don't build real confidence. They build a character, a mask, a perfectly filtered version of themselves they can present, as long as no one looks too closely. Why? Because they've confused confidence with certainty. But here's the truth. Confidence is not knowing you'll win. It's believing you can handle it if you don't. And that belief only comes from one thing: repeated exposure to failure, discomfort, embarrassment, rejection. If you avoid these, your confidence is built on sand. So here's the litmus test. When's the last time you risked looking stupid? If you can't remember, then your confidence isn't confidence. It's costume jewelry. And if that stings, good. That means you're awake and ready for the final piece. Number 7, self-acceptance. Let's be honest. Everything we've discussed, the vision, the awareness, the courage, the generosity, the esteem, the confidence, none of it sticks without self-acceptance. Because if you believe you're broken, you'll unconsciously sabotage everything you build. This is where it gets personal. You've probably carried shame longer than you've carried ambition. You've punished yourself for mistakes you made in survival mode. You've held yourself hostage to versions of you that didn't know better. But here's the irony. The part of you you're trying to erase, that's the part that built your strength. Self-acceptance isn't resignation. It's integration. It's saying, I am not perfect, I've failed, I've fallen, and I'm still worthy. You don't need to fix yourself. You need to meet yourself. Success isn't something you chase, it's something you become. Now you've seen the 7 ingredients. A sense of direction that makes your path non-negotiable. An understanding that makes people and your own past clear. A courage that moves even when it's terrifying. A charity that gives from power, not performance. An esteem rooted in integrity, not applause. A self-confidence built from doing the hard thing badly and still showing up. And a self-acceptance deep enough to carry the weight of all you're becoming. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another podcast. You need a decision to stop managing the version of you built to survive and start building the one designed to succeed.